Thank you for staying with us. And now we delve into the conversation we have for the day. And joining us right here, we have Samuel Okata. Good morning, Samuel.
Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
All right, now let's just go straight. A public university student on Twitter tearfully explains why she's envious of those who study in private universities or outside Nigeria. I envy, like what she said is, I envy people that are privileged to be a student in a private university or study outside Nigeria. I'm really jealous and I can't hide it. I'm not saying you have it easy or anything. I'm just saying your stipulated time never change. I'd rather go through the struggles at once. Well, as a federal university student, you struggle to enter university, struggle to keep up with the different variables, stress, expenses, housing, feeding, overbearing lectures, examinations, when you've learned nothing. Honestly, I wish I had everything easy. And then she went further to say, then with all this struggle you are supposed to fit for 4 years, ASUU and federal government would extend your struggles. Rent of 4 years will turn to rent of 6 years. Struggles of 4 years continues. They will disrupt your plans, putting a halt on your life just because you chose education. Further, she also said, education is, as they always advise us to go for. She is the best legacy. The unlimited doors we can't enter without education. Why is it so hard for them to even give us that? We are ready. You are denying us with the most basic, or denying us the most basic thing we ask. They say, learn a skill, start a business. All right. Personally, I love education. I love school. I have the GP to show for it. I don't want to learn a skill or start a business. I want to start a profession based off my love for education, and Nigeria wouldn't give me that. It was not possible for me to have it easy, but I'll never let my future kids go through what I'm presently going through in the face of Nigeria and ASUU. Education was supposed to be the most basic right we have, and even that is impossible. Rights to education. I'm just entering my 400 level, but I have the chance and opportunity, or if I have the chance or opportunity to start all over again in a better country with a good level of education, wallahi, I'll take it without thinking twice. Well, she said she wrote this thread in tears. Oh, wow, this tweet generated a lot of reactions. But before the reactions, I'll just get your, Samuel and Sam, so I'll just get your 2 cents on how this made you feel. Let's start with Samuel.
All right, it's actually emotional, reading such a message from the student, and it cannot be overly emphasized because this is something we all have gone through as far as schooling in this country is concerned. Unfortunately, the situation is with us now, and that's why we all are disconcerted. We all are actually wishing that the government comes to terms so that a whole lot of things will not go down the drain when it comes to education. We know the extent to which this can go, aside from the fact that it makes the students, spend more years in school, which affects a whole lot of things when it comes to expenses, like she has narrated. It also affects school activities and its operation. For example, if a particular syllabus is supposed to be covered within the space of time and such thing comes in, obviously a whole lot of things is going to be paused or put on hold until they're able to resolve. And when they resolve, you're going to see this hastiness about the school trying to make sure that they finish up their curricular activities so that the students can be seen to be moving to the next class. This is actually what happens, and as a result of this kind of hastiness, it affects the performance of the student, no doubt, because there's no much time for that student to be able to assimilate things and to be able to perform well when he or she goes in to write exam. And that's why you see that we have a whole lot of production when it comes to half-baked university graduates. Because when they needed time to be able to assimilate things, there's no time. How do you want them to perform well?
Okay.
What is the result when they go out into the, into the society? You begin to see people who are looking for a job. These jobs are there, but they're not performing, and you begin to blame them.
All right, let me just get what something has to say.
Well, it's an emotional, thread that the lady, weaved. But more importantly is the fact that it's the truth. It's the common reality of the Nigerian students. I've said that repeatedly. I sound more like a broken record. I'm yet to find a student who schooled in Nigeria over the last 20, 30 years and, didn't go through the usual ASUU strike. So for all of these issues, there are things that the federal government can address. Unfortunately, as the lady, pointed out, it has trickle-down effects. It's not just the educational or the academic pursuit that is being halted. You have other aspects of your life that it affects, and then the education now becomes a cloud just hovering there, and it's not giving you a leeway to delve into other aspects of your life or projects and what have you. Having said that, she also talked about the cost, the trickle down effect in terms of the cost. It's not just your school, in terms of academics or school fees, as it were. There's the place of rent, there are other variables in the mix as well. So it's a really challenging time or period for any Nigerian student. Now, I understand in this part of the world we hardly talk about the mental health issues that would plague one when one goes through this, but it's something that we cannot deny happens. You finish from secondary school, your mates get into school before you. There's sometimes that inadequate, that feeling of being inadequate or not being good enough. Now, how much more when you have your contemporaries, at other schools as well, and they are finishing, you can't finish. So it's just here and there. Again, I feel like she has just stated the reality, and it's something that we all have experienced. I really hope that the federal government, with their discussion with ASUU today, would be able to find a lasting solution. Not those usual memorandum of understanding, but something that will be substantial and that ASUU and the federal government can find a middle ground.
All right, now let's just get some reactions. That particular thread had a lot of reactions. People, someone said, Oluwa Temilehin said, replying, said, are you motivated? A graduate is 10 times better than a billionaire with no degree. Well, Oluwa Busolami said, I would have preferred to be a billionaire without degree, so I can at least use my money to buy the degree certificate. Now, that's looking how Nigerians are now thinking because of what's happening. Well, Opa Ako mentioned, someone else said, replying to this person, I entered university in 2019. And I'm still in 200 level in 2022 with the crying emoji there. And Hitler at Fikayo, now UI students suffer pass. Our calendar is low, and now we be headquarters of ASUU. My ID card is expiring this year. I entered uni in 2018. I just entered 300 level, and we have not had any class yet when they started another strike.
Now that's for a school that had internal crisis. Remember the VC shape of a thing and all of that. Again, all of these things play out. You have, it's one thing to say there's an ASUU industrial action, which probably would affect all of its members in terms of universities. It's another thing for a university to have its own internal crisis. So for a school like UI, they had their own internal crisis over the last 2 years. Coupled with ASUU, you can understand the frustration that comes with
that frustration is
students
really,
of that school.
Deep. And then I'm wondering, well, someone who entered school in 2018 and
2022, 4 years should be done.
Should be done, but it's 200 level, and yet there's not something.
Even the 300 level, they've not started receiving lectures. So it's as good as saying he just finished this 200 level.
In fact, there's no hope in sight for that kind of person, because he's just thinking, when is he going to even start his lectures? When is he going to finish? It's a really sad situation, honestly.
Well, me personally, I went to, I attended a federal university, and it was
which one precisely?
University of Port Harcourt.
Oh, that's cool.
The prestigious University of Port Harcourt. What do you mean that's cool?
That's an advert.
Well,
that's cool.
It's my alma mater. I should
I
be proud
understand.
of
That's
it.
cool.
What do you mean that's cool? I'm coming to that. But then, interestingly, in my days in University of Port Harcourt, I was yet to witness an ASUU strike. And I was almost getting excited until I think I was about to go into, I was just entering 200 level. Something happened and ASUU went on strike, but it didn't stay for a very long time. But I know that period, I was happy. You know why I was happy? Because I was overwhelmed with school stress. And funny enough, if you studied the course I studied, which was theater arts, theater and film studies at that point, it felt like a very easy course. But then, it's rigorous. Any thespian would attest to this. So I was already overwhelmed with stress, and I just needed that rest. But then the rest was becoming too long, and I was asking God, please, Lord, I want to graduate when my mates are graduating. So, and then we had some crisis with the VC asking students to repeat sessions that didn't pay school fees, and those who paid, it didn't reflect on the portal. So it was. I know all of those periods, we're not receiving lectures. I was scared for my future because I'd already planned my life. I'll enter university, I'll spend how many years, I'll graduate so year.
You'll be
I'll
working, get married.
No, that one is even too far. I said I was going to be engaged in my 300 level, and by by when I'm done with 400 level, end of 300 level, I'm going to be engaged, have a serious relationship. I'm engaged to the man of my dream. End of 400 level, I'm married, because I didn't want to get married in school. I wanted that that's focus. I didn't want, I'm not caught up for stress. Husband, children, no. I'm going to get married when as I'm finishing my convocation day. I won't mind it being my wedding day. I'll have those plans. I'll now come out. I will not, I'll have children. By the time I get to this age, I should have been married. And then, but then the ASUU strike was beginning
was looking at you like,
oh, are you serious?
The ASUU said, just finish up.
Just finish up. Let me tell you. But then I was praying. Well, as God may have it, the ASUU strike didn't really disrupt, even though it disrupted by some months, but it didn't disrupt by years. But then all of the plans of getting engaged, and well, it didn't happen, by the way. So Samuel, let me get your own let me get your own experience. Did you attend were you affected by ASUU at any point, or a loved one of you affected by ASUU at any point?
Well, for me, I wasn't really affected. I've never experienced such, due to the fact that I never went to such university. I went to a university that when it is 4 years that you needed to complete to round up your program, it's going to be 4 years. So I never knew or have that, that feel of being at home or not doing anything, waiting till when. No, I never had that kind of experience. But I can really relate with those who have gone through it.
Like, so something, you went to a federal university, I'm very sure.
The best of them.
University of Lagos, that was you want to say?
Well,
because it's in Lagos.
Center of Excellence.
What are you saying? What is excellence? Oh, well,
hello. Like hello.
But then there was ASUU strike, so all of the excellence ASUU had to strike.
The School of First Choice and what?
University of Lagos. Did you have
the School
ASUU?
Of what?
Did you finally have ASUU
You can't
strike?
pick us as second choice because we are the best.
Did you finally have ASUU strike in your first choice?
Well, not based on school internal crisis from UNILAG, but ASUU. 6 months, when I got in 6 months. So I couldn't start academic, activities until 6 months after I had gotten the admission because of ASUU strike.
That's like a session already out. The
last 6 months, when I was rounding up, there was another strike, that affected. But for all of what it is, the school was able to modulate up within 4 years. So it looks like 4 years on paper, but when you consider the fact that if you take the ASUU strike and all, it's actually like 5 years for a 4-year course. But more often than not, what you realize is most schools, when there's the industrial action by ASUU, they now decide when they've resumed to just try and rush, hasten things up. So if a semester is meant to be probably 14, 15 weeks, they can probably shrink it to 10 weeks, that kind of a thing, just to try and balance the academic calendar. It could take a while, maybe 2 years, but that's what they do. And
then one thing that also affected, when you are supposed to have a semester 3 months, you're supposed to have like a month holiday, then I have to
2 weeks.
By school they even give us up to 2 weeks. You're finishing exam today, and in like less than
a week or so,
you're starting lectures.
We had that,
and we didn't have a choice. If you don't want to come to lectures, just know that I understand that they were trying to help. But then let's look at some parents who would, because of money due to financial constraints, they send their children to school one after the other. When you finish, probably start working, you cannot assist, or they have to pay yours first of all. For a parent that had planned, maybe I have 4 children, I had planned that, okay, when my first child finishes school, or when he's about 300 level, I send the next one. So when he's finally working, he cannot be assisting. I know I'm not planning for 2. He or the parent has planned for 4 years, and ASUU comes up, and a 4-year course, it may seem very, very easy while we are talking about it, but at that point, when my school fees then was 45,000 naira, but it didn't seem so easy at that point. It may seem easy for me, but we had classmates who were not able to pay. Genuinely, they did not have it. So a parent who has planned 45,000 naira for 4 years, and then they genuinely don't even have it. And now that 45,000 for 4 years, it's now extending to 6 years. Would they even really be motivated enough to even send these children to school again?